Hi, George.
Hi, how are you?
I'm elated to be here at Decode 2.0.
Karibu sana.
Today I just want you to take a seat back.
Okay.
And then I have a surprise for you today.
Okay.
You ready?
Community, Andrew, Decode Community.
We can play it again.
Hello, Decode Community, Andrew, Decode Community.
How many of you guys think that was George's voice? By raise of hands. Can you see them? I'm just raising a small poll. How many of you think it was computer generated, that is artificial intelligence? George, what do you think?
I think I definitely did not do a recording like that. I do know a little bit of French. I can say bonjour, comment ça va? But certainly, definitely sounds quite like me.
George, that is actually a digital twin.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sure many people are wondering, what is this digital twin? How can I adapt it, maybe? Yeah. So I'll just explain to you in terms of an outcome analogy. You're all smart, right? Now, what if we could have 10x of you guys? Think about the productivity. Think about our country's digital ambition. And what's great, George, is the talent is here. We have the technology. And the time is now.
It's quite exciting, you know, when you say that, probably Morten and Paul will say, we have no more head count. But I think the task ahead is 10x.
Reload.
And Peter spoke about us having grown 3 times. Then that means our 850 will be 8,500 with our digital twin. But show us something real.
Sure.
Yeah. So, by show of hands, this month, how many of you have used ChatGPT? If you've used ChatGPT, say, awo. Before the CEO starts wondering if this is a DJ or an engineer, let me show you something. So, George, what would you like to know?
You know, since Peter joined Safaricom, we're very big on mission.
Yeah.
And he always starts with a strategy house. So if I don't ask about mission, he'll think my digital twin has not been inducted. So let's take a snap. Let's see if this twin knows what my mission is.
Let's give it a test. So as this goes ahead, we have all said we know ChatGPT, we have used ChatGPT, it has been trained with tremendous amount of data, 175 billion parameters, 45 terabytes of data. All this has been done to this George's own ChatGPT. So we have made George out of our own data, his own data. He didn't know he was recorded, but we had his data from somewhere. So from there are 3 things you need to understand as you use these tools. First of all, if you put a prompt there, before we typed in what George's mission was, there was what was written there as a placeholder saying, please insert a prompt. What does this mean? We have all to embrace the skill of having prompt engineering as something that we have to all learn, because we are all utilizing AI, we are all utilizing what we call large language models. And behind the large language models is what we call prompt templating. What do I mean by that? For example, if you wanted your agent to be a poet, behind there it would write, act as a poet. Write me a poem in English, write me a poem about trees, write me a poem about anything, but it will be a poet for you. Anybody else can act as an agent for a software engineer. So you can be acting as a software engineer. I don't know if our GPUs just came up. So I thought, let's hear now, George. Tell us.
The mission is BOSS, which stands for Build Open, Scalable, Sellable Platforms in order to deliver agile, cost-leading customer solutions.
Wait. I definitely did not do this recording. I'm sure you've made the head of public service feel comfortable with the suit on the screen. But wow, okay, this is mind-blowing. You even have my watch. Okay, I see you have French there.
Yeah.
I would really love when we share our mission with some of our partners who are from Francophone countries or even who speak other languages to be able to share the mission with them. Does the French side also work?
Let's see if it works. Please tell me, kama ni French ama ni historia jaba. Let's go.
La mission est boss. Pour signify constructors via these platforms or its evolutives, fundables, afin de fournir des solutions clients, agiles et à moindre coût.
Wow, this is... Hey, I'm about to ask you, parlo français or je ne comprends pas le français? This is... You know, I knew you guys were working on an assignment to showcase AI, but I didn't know it would go to this level. And part of me is just wondering, how would we be able to distinguish in this work, whether it's me, it's George, or it's George twin, or, I mean, how does all this come together?
So George, we talked about responsibility and the ethical bit. And if we can be able to use this, we have a plethora of ideas. And I'm sure from the community today, I'll get a few more nuggets we can plug in. But we just played for you in French. So think about it. Content translation. You're talking to the global community in the language they prefer, or your market, where we talked about the Francophone countries. Something else, we talk about inclusivity in our digital age, where right now we have someone translating in sign language. We can actually have you translate your mission in sign language in terms of inclusivity. Also, we talked about the chatbot. We had Zuri come in. And think about Zuri in a way that those with speech impairments, we can have a realistic audio for them to be able to communicate effectively. And lastly, we all like to have some fun. So this was entertainment, and entertainment is one of our use cases. Yeah. And George, you saw the Chapadimba advert, right?
Yeah.
It was AI generated. Have you ever dreamt of being a football pundit?
Really, I would love to do that, but this is a very sad week for me in terms of football. You have set me up. It's a happy week for Peter, but it's quite a sad week for me. So please, kuja pole pole. Or I'll tell you mambo ni matatu.
Okay. Okay, think of it in Chapadimba. We could have you as a football pundit. And okay. You're an actor in our technology, and we can seamlessly integrate you at the Etihad. Or even Peter, I'm hoping it's the Emirates. We can be able to seamlessly integrate actors to different scenarios.
This is fantastic. I'm excited about the applications. I think for the players in the room, over the next 1 year, and I know we've spoken with Dennis Itumbi and the Ministry of ICT, you will begin to see more of this being integrated into every facet of Kenya's society. How long did it take for you guys to do all this?
Yeah, so George, as the mechanic of this team.
Mechanic.
Yeah, the mechanic.
Yes.
The Mimi. Allow me to be a bit technical.
Wacha nikumbuke.
Yes.
You are the driver. You're the driver.
I'm the conductor.
Makanga.
Kamagera.
Magera. Yeah. Peter, by the way, he's a very good developer. So he's not a DJ. Yeah. Mechanic.
Yeah, so I'm the mechanic. And so allow me to get a bit technical as I explain what is going on under the hood to be able to generate this AI video. So we are using generative AI foundation models to generate this video that you've just listened to. And the first step when you're training your AI models is you need data, and lots of it. So as you've heard, we're trying to get your digital twin to speak like you, yeah? So we had to get your voice, we had to train it on your voice. So we got it from many different sources, like last year's Decode, we're able to get all over. So we've already sourced the data. That's the first step. The next step is prepping the data. We need to clean it, remove some of the background noise that the model won't like, and other speakers speaking. So that is done, and then transcribing so that the model actually understands. So George is saying this, but this is the text that he's actually saying. This is the voice, and this is the text. So we use another deep learning model, speech-to-text model to transcribe. So once the data prep is done, the next part is now the fun part, which is training. That is where we now crunch the numbers, yeah? We utilize multiple high-end GPUs and lots of RAM to train the model. In this case, it's a text-to-speech model. So we fine-tune the model and train it on your voice. Now, the interesting thing about machine learning and AI is that it's an iterative process. Yeah, it doesn't always just come out perfect the first time. So I remember actually the first model that we tested, we joked around saying that it sounded like your American cousin because the speech was way off, the accent was off, but with further training, we were able to then improve the accuracy, more data, more tuning the hyperparameters. We're able to get the model to improve the accuracy and be able to sound more like you. So that is what was happening actually beforehand. That didn't happen right now, yeah? So that was beforehand, and now we have the trained model. So when you saw the submit button being pressed, what is actually happening is we then take that model, we take the prompt that is returned from our large language model, the LLM. So the response is then now fed, becomes the input of the voice model, and then the voice model now gives us the output, which is the audio file. So that is what you're now saying. So your mission was in text, but now we have verbalized it. And then that now goes on to the last step, which is we take that audio, combine it with the video and a lip sync model, another deep learning model there. We lip sync it, and we then get the final output, which is the video that we've just watched. So in a nutshell, that is what is happening behind the scenes.
Thank you. Well done. Well done. Tell us about how we keep safe, because I can imagine this could call PS Tanui and tell him that decode is in Konza, and he calls Konza and they tell him no. So tell us a bit around the ethics and protection around this.
Sure. We can all agree that in every evolution we have bad players. And I, being your watchie, let me take you through some of the guidelines that we've been able to enforce to ensure all the risks that revolves around generative AI, we can be able to be measured and mitigated. One is the watermark technique. If we are being asked if we can check, we can be able to differentiate between if it's a synthetic voice or an original voice. So currently on this model, we've implemented in a way that you can be able to differentiate that this is the original voice and this is the synthetic voice. That is one. Second is data protection. So we are querying our internal LLMs to ensure that the data that we are sharing with you guys are all classified and it's ready for the public. Third is transparency. That is what we are doing right now here. We are making sure that we are able to know what we are doing and why we are doing it. And lastly is responsible usage. For us, we are mainly using it for content creation and educational purposes. So with that, those are some of the guidelines that we've been able to put as a measure, and there's so much more that we need to adhere in terms of the generative AI best practices.
Thank you so much. You should get into study my meetings with Morten, especially the 7:30 a.m. ones on budget, and hopefully it can attend the next one and maybe give better answers. But well done to the team. You've done a fantastic job. Let's give them a clap. When you see ChatGPT and you just think that these things are happening in other countries, you can be assured that we are decoding them right here in Kenya. And I'm sure the team will welcome all of you as we go through this process to join this revolution.
Were you guys convinced? So George, are you ready to adapt your twin?
I am ready to adapt my twin. I think we probably need to find a new name.
Sure. What suggest a name?
I don't know. Maybe we'll make it as one of the competitions, and I can do a giveaway if we can get a good name. So I think one of the things, MC Mbogwa, make sure you run a competition somewhere on the digital platforms, and whoever brings the coolest name, I'll gift them as part of this year's Decode.
There you have it, guys. Keep typing.
Back to our MC. You want to be back?